Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 6, and in this episode we are going to continue with our Tier 1 and Tier 2 unlocking of our factory here, and the end of the last episode with getting base building unlocked. We did start laying out some foundations here, but sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Okay, with the expanding of base building, we do have some concrete foundations and everything down here. We've got a line, a steady line of limestone getting into concrete. We've got a steady line of iron plates being made, a steady line of iron rods being made. We've got our copper wire over there and some copper cabling being made. So we're starting to get moving along here with advancing the base. This is by no means how the final end of this is going to be, for how I want these factories to be producing their items and stuff. But for now, it's going to do the trick for us as we start unlocking more tiers. And with that said, we are actually ready for the logistics milestone in Tier 1. So we're going to select this mission, and we're throwing in our iron plate, our iron rods, and some copper wire. It's ready to go. That's launched off. And what do we need for the next milestone? The next one is field research. And yeah, what do we got here? Enter to skip. Let's go. We need more screws. So I just have to make some more screws, and we have this one unlocked. So let's get some screws made. All right, while we're waiting for Ada to return to be able to turn in our next milestone, a couple of key things that we are going to be able to do here. Now that logistics is unlocked, if we go to our logistics, we have our mergers and our splitters now. So that's going to be able to make these miners a little bit more efficient than what they are right now. Unfortunately, they are still just running on Tier 1 conveyors because we don't have Tier 2 conveyors yet, because that is obviously going to happen in Tier 2 when we unlock that stuff. But we can start to, divide up these lines a little bit, divide and conquer. We specifically, for our iron rods, we can split that off and have half of it being made into our screw manufacturing. So while we're waiting for Ada to return, I might just get started on building that. Okay, so we have expanded our production here now that we've got splitters and whatnot to make everything here 100% efficient. Now, of course, we are still dealing with Mark 1 conveyors. These conveyors are only capable of 60 items per minute. And we do have pure nodes that we are currently getting 120 items a minute from, but we can't run at that speed yet. However, we've got them splitting into two different smelters, so that's 30 items per minute into each, making our iron ingots. And then from there, that's getting merged together into one more line, and then we're splitting it again. I know that this doesn't need to be here. I know I can go a direct line to a direct line. But this is kind of built on the plans of I can move things around if I need be and can break off chunks of the factory. So I've kind of done this on purpose just so that it makes the load balancing into things a little bit easier as you'll see kind of when we get over to the iron rod construction. So so both of these constructors are then taking a feed of 30 items per minute for our iron ingots, and then those are being made into iron plate at 20 items per minute, of which that is getting merged together, 20 on each side, 40 items per minute, loading into this storage container. So that is that iron line. The next iron line is over here. So we have one iron node coming in at 60 items per minute. It's going off into two smelters. That's then making 60 items per minute of ingots. That's then split off in our load balancing. So we merge it, we split it, and then we split it again. So it's split. 60 items is split into 30. 30 is then split into 15. And we have 15 items per minute going in here, 15 items per minute going in there, so on and so forth. That's making our iron rods. Two of them are for iron rod storage. So we have iron rod storage going into this container. And then we are taking that other line. It's all getting merged together. So we have a total of 15 and 15. That's 30 items per minute of iron rods that are then getting split 3 ways, because these require 10 items per minute of rods to be able to make the screws. So we have 10, 10, and 10. And then that is getting merged a little bit different over here. So the middle line, we are actually splitting. Half of it goes this way, half of it goes that way. Reason being is we're getting 40 items per minute off of this. So that's 20 this way, 20 that way. When merged off of this 40 line, we're getting 60 items per minute, loading screws into this container, and 60 items per minute loading screws into this container. Why do you say, are we doing that? The specific reason for that is we will then be able to take one of those screw lines and combine it with our iron plate manufacturing to be able to make reinforced iron plate down the road. But that's basically why I've got to split off into two separate screw storage lines. That, and of course, our conveyor systems, I can't combine these to make 120 items per minute yet because I don't have the Mark II conveyor. Okay, I know that was a lot to take in with that little bit of expansion that we just did there, but now let's gather up our items so that we can finish our next milestone. We are at the hub. We are going to Tier 1 Milestone Field Research. What does this get us? This gets us the map, the MAM, the object scanner, the personal storage box, beacons, an extra hand slot, and an extra inventory slot. What else do we got? So we're going to select this mission. We have our copper wire. We have our 300 screws. And we have 100 plate. Launch away. That is now done. Tier 1 research is complete. So now we can start working on Tier 2. Okay, so Tier 2, selecting the milestones. Parts assembly is the first one that we've got here. That will be able to give us the ability to make more complicated parts. Cable, rods, screws, and plate. The only thing we're missing is screws. We'll be able to take care of that. That's not a problem. Next is obstacle clearing. This is a really important one because what does it get us? It gets us solid biofuel, which is an upgrade for our current burners, as well as we get the chainsaw. So that means we can go out and start mass chopping down wood and everything, because wood generates a lot more biomass than leaves does. So that's another thing we get to look at. Jump pads, those we'll have to make rotors which I believe is combining, I think it's rods and screws, or reinforced plate and screws, something like that. We'll have to double check. I can't remember exactly what it is. And then resource sync bonus program. So this is where we get our awesome shop and our awesome tickets, and then our customizers and stuff. So again, we just need more wire for that. This is an important one, logistics part 2. This gets us an upgrade of getting our 120 item per minute conveyor belt, which is going to be really, really, really important for us. That's going to require a bunch of the reinforced plate. So, parts assembly. Let's go get some materials. And just in time, Ada is arriving, so we can pop over here. We have to wait till it's actually fully landed before it'll give us that milestone for us to be able to dive into and start working with. Ada has landed. We are good to go. Okay, we're at the computer. Parts assembly. We're selecting this milestone. We're adding our cable. We're adding our rods. We're adding our screws. And we're adding our plate. And a lot of plate it is. Launch away. That is the next milestone of Tier 2 completes. Milestone. Now we need to gather more materials. Assembly of parts. Okay, so I did add an assembler over here that is making our reinforced iron plate. So we are going to have a little bit of a stockpile of reinforced iron plate when it comes to making Mark II conveyor belts, because that is the material that's going to be used for them, as well as we're going to need that for turning in various things here in the near future. But let's get obstacle clearing reset here. We're going to get this milestone done, and we're going to select that. What do we need? We need 500 screws, we need 100 cable, and we need 100 concrete. That is done. Boom, launched away. Tier 2 obstacle clearing is done. So with the latest milestone unlock, we are now making, I've got it automated here, making our solid biofuel. Unfortunately, with our Mark I conveyors, it can only run at half speed, so we're really only making 30 items per minute right now. But every once in a while, I run through and top this off to make sure that it's good and full, so that we can make our 60 per minute. Now, the next thing we got to make is a chainsaw, so that we can start chopping down some trees and getting a bunch more wood that we can turn into biomass. Alright, we have ourselves a chainsaw, and we have biomass, or the solid biofuel, so we can start chopping down trees and getting a bunch more materials for making our fuel. Alrighty, I think it is now time to bust back into our milestones for Tier 2. We're doing jump pads. I handcrafted some rotors, and we've got plate, and it looks like we've got everything we need for this. So here's our rotors, here's our plate, here's our cable, and a little bit more plates, and a launch away. Why is that not clicking? Is Ada not returned yet? No, Ada's here. There we go. It was just being finicky and not allowing me to click it, but away it goes. And Ada is returning again, so we are ready for our next milestone to complete for Tier 2. We are selecting resource sink, selecting the milestone. We need concrete, that's loaded. We need wire. We need rods and plates. Launch away. There is another milestone completed. Alright, so while we're waiting for A to return, let's quickly just recap what all we have unlocked now. So if we go into our special section here, we now have our awesome sink and our awesome shop. This way we can dump excess materials into the awesome sink and the awesome shop to be able to pull our FICSIT coupons and dump them into the shop to be able to get different customizations and everything that we will need later on as we start to make. One of the things I really want to work on during this whole series is instead of just having plain boring factories, I want to start designing and building some buildings. I've been really inspired by a lot of the creator content that's been put out there and the screenshots that have been shared on Snuts and Jace's live stream, so we're going to try to pull some inspiration from that and do a little bit of creating our own. My background as far as gaming is I love doing a lot of creative builds in Minecraft. Of course, this is a lot different, and so to try to take those creative ideas and implement it into these materials will be a significant challenge over what we did in our Update 5 first playthrough. This is technically now my second playthrough on the game. So let us wait so that we can get the last milestone unlocked for Tier 2. I was just thinking some other things that we could be working on is our MAM Research as well too, which we have, this has got some significant changes because they've changed the various parts. So alien organism is divided up into a bunch of different things now. So we need to start doing some research on these and to be able to unlock either different slots in our inventory, different tools, whatnot. So let's get started with a little bit of MAM Research. All right, right off the hop, I do have, the only ones that I have right now is I do have this one. Research time, 3 seconds, so that should be researching now as we start research. There we go. Had to remember how to do it. I completely forgot how to do it. Confirm. Okay, what does this get us? Bioorganic properties. Okay, that's new. Organic data capsule. And biomass. What does that make? Research. Okay, this is all new. This is Update 6 content that is completely new to me. I have not dealt with it before. So let's click on this. Let's start this research. That was, what little bits and pieces were that? That's Hatcher shells there. So, okay, so that is now
new
researched. Oh, look, we got a new recipe. Good for us. Next thing we need to do is we need to find some stingers, and then we also need to find some spitters. So, now, organic data capsule. I bet you that's the new recipe that we unlocked. We get Hatcher protein. What does Hatcher protein get us? Ground down alien remains into neat little packages used for medical purposes and research alien organisms. Okay. Good to know. And then hog protein as well. Well, we might as well, like, craft these up and see what that gets us. And then is the other thing in here that we make? Okay, I'm not sure how to make the capsule yet, but again, these are new things for Update 6, so we'll get there eventually, I'm thinking. See, now this is where we're... Okay, the recipe has changed for being able to make the inhalers. Wow, it costs 50 rotors to make inhalers? No, that... Or just to research it. Okay. I'm like, that's insane. So we need to find some of the nuts, and then we need 50 rotors for that. Holy smokes, that's going to take some research. This year's still locked because of organic data capsules. I'm going to figure out how to make those. But in the meantime, what has happened is Ada has returned. So let us go to our final Tier 2 upgrade for milestones. We're selecting that milestone. We are going with reinforced plate that we're short of. I need 3 more reinforced plates. And you know why I'm short is because I went and made Mr. Chainsaw. So Mr. Chainsaw took like 5, I think it was, for it. But we got 88 more, so we're good to go. Not a worry there. Okay, let's switch over here. Grab our milestone. Load in the rest of those. Our concrete. Our rods. And our plates. Launch! Tier 2 is now complete.
Milestone reached. Improved versions of conveyor belts and
what do we got?
Are now accessible.
So Tier 2 or Tier 3 we can't unlock until we get the space elevator put down. So where are we at here now? I think right now this is a really good point to say, okay, we've reached kind of the end of another episode. What do I got to do in the meantime between now and the next episode is, now that we have Mark II conveyors, well, these need to get redone to be more efficient because we need to take full advantage of getting all of our materials from our miners. And you know what? We got to get that space elevator placed down. So it's going to be somewhere in this area, which means we got to relocate some things over here so that we can get our space elevator placed down, as well as I need to have more productive fuel manufacturing getting done. So a little bit of tweaks before we dive into Tier 3 and Tier 4. But I think we've made a huge strides in this episode. So what you can do for me is reach down, hit the like button on the video. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think of the series so far and what you're thinking of Update 6 as we progress through. I'm really interested in the MAM research and the changes in the MAM research. That is exciting to dive into, and we will continue working on that as we upgrade through those tiers. Reach down, hit that subscribe button on the video, and while you're there, just a little bit over beside that, there's a bell that you can click on. Ring that notification bell so you can be notified when a new video has been uploaded. As well as you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and that's available at TerrisDWDC. With that said, you have a good one, and we will see you in the next episode.